Every sprinter wants to know the secret to getting faster. And if you're like most athletes, you probably heard 100 different cues from 100 different angles from 100 different coaches. Lift your knees, pump your arms, relax your face, push harder. And the problem is, when you're on the line, you can't think about all of that. And by the time the gun goes off, if your brain is already loaded with 20 different things, you've already lost. And that's why I coach my athletes with what I call the core four of sprinting: your position, your posture, your power, and patience. As a sprinter, these are the only four things you need to think about to run fast. They're simple, clear, and they strip away all the noise so you can focus on what actually matters with racing. So why simplicity wins in sprinting? Because sprinting is the fastest movement in sport. You don't have time to think about every tiny detail. And that's what practice is for, building those habits. But on race day, or even during high quality sprint practices, you need to focus on cues that are simple and powerful. And that's why the core four works, because they cover everything that matters biomechanically. They're easy to remember and they anchor your focus in the right direction and without overloading your brain. So let's break it down one by one. My name is Lawrence Ella Johnson, a professional sprinter, multiple-time All-American, former D1 athlete, also dual sport athlete, track and football. This year, I ran sub 10 for the first time in a wind-aided race. And every athlete that I coach on a one-on-one basis, they made it past 6 months in my training program, barring an injury. So, when I say this works, the proof is in the pudding. So let's break it down. Number one is position. Sprint speed starts with being in the right position. If your shin angles are wrong, if your hips aren't where they're supposed to be, or if you're striking in front of your center of mass, you're losing force. But what does good positions even look like? At the start, the shin angle need to be at 45 degrees. You need to have your chest low and you need to drive forward. At acceleration, you want to project forward and push the ground back. At max velocity, you want to be striking directly underneath your hips with proper front side mechanics. So here's a cue for athletes. You want to hit the right shapes. And these drills help you reinforce those positions. Wall drills, 3 sets of 6 reps each leg. Sled sprints, 6 sets of 20 meters. Wicket runs, 5 sets of 20 meters. A-skips with stiffness is also going to help you, because if your positions are off, nothing else matters. And that's why it's number one. Number two is posture. Posture is how you carry your body through the sprint. You can have strong legs, great mechanics, but if your posture is collapsing, you're leaking energy. Because good posture looks like a neutral spine, no arching or slouching, a smooth rise out of acceleration and not popping up too soon, and not staying bent for too long. You want to have tall hips at max velocity. So here's a cue for athletes. Run tall through the hips for posture, right? You want to focus on posture. Wall drills with a neutral spine is the drills that you can use for this. Or build-up sprints to gradually rise posture. Or wicket runs with insane posture focus. And then sprint dribbles. You can do low, medium, or high dribbles, because posture is what keeps you efficient and lets you project the forces into the ground and reduce injury risk. Number 3 is power, because speed equals force into the ground, and that comes from power. But here's the key. Power isn't just about lifting heavy in the gym. It's about applying that power in fractions of a second during sprint. Because power shows up in your explosive block clearance, strong and quick ground contact, also elastic stiffness through the ankles and hamstrings. So here's a cue for athletes. Punch the ground, right? Ways to train power will be maybe your short acceleration sprints, 6 sets of 20 meters. Your hill sprints, 8 sets of 30 meters. Your plows, which includes your broad jump, your bounds, and hurdle hops. And then the weight room pairings will be your heavy trap bar deadlift into a broad jump. Because if you don't have power, your stride is empty. But if you do have power, you channel it with good positions and posture, because speed becomes inevitable if you focus on those things. And number 4 is patience. And this is the one most athletes struggle with. Because sprinting is so fast that athletes start to panic. They rush and they try to force it. But the best sprinters in the world, such as Bolt, they let the race come to them. They don't win the race in the first 10 meters. They trust the phases. So patience look like this: staying low in acceleration instead of popping up and letting your stride open naturally. Not overstriding, but relaxing at max velocity so frequency and stride length can balance out. So a cue for athletes is relax and let it build. Let that pressure build and be patient. So here's how you can train patience. Flying sprints with a long buildup, so a 20-meter buildup into a 30-meter fly. Progressive wicket runs, and then tempo runs at a controlled pace. I like to say, for example, it's 8 times 20 meters at 70% maximum speed. Now, this is also the key, is mental rehearsal. This allows you to trust your race plan because patience is what separates sprinters who blow up at 60 meters from sprinters who finish strong at 100 meters. The core four together. So when I talk to my athletes, I don't give them 20 different cues. I give them the core four. Positions, hit the right shapes. Posture, run tall through the hips. Power, punch the ground. And patience, relax and let it build. And these 4 cues cover every part of the race. And if you can master them, everything else takes care of itself. So you might be wondering, why not programming, right? Coach, what about training programs? What about sets and reps? What about speed, endurance, and weight? That stuff does matter, but not in a race. And when you're actually sprinting, that's not the time to think about percentages or volume. And that's what training is for. In training, we build the habits in the race so we can trust it. So here's the action plan for you athletes. Here's how you can actually implement this. Pick one of the core fours to focus on each rep, and then rotate them. First rep, focus on positions. Second rep, focus on posture. Third rep, focus on patience. And fourth rep, focus on power. Over time, all 4 will become automatic. That way, by the time you're on the line in the meet, you're not thinking or reaching, right? You built the habits and you sprint free. So the only 4 ways to actually get faster as a sprinter is positions, power, and patience. That's the core 4. And if you can master these, you don't need to clutter your brain with 20 different cues. You will be faster by just focusing on these 4, making it more efficient, allowing you to be more confident with every step you take on a track. Because at the end of the day, you're a sprinter, you're not a coach. So stop overthinking the training plan. Let the coaches coach and you drive the car, right? You are the car. So next practice, don't overthink it, don't overload it. Pick one of the core 4s, master it, and let it become second nature. And that's actually how you get faster as an athlete. So if you found this video helpful, share it with somebody that needs to see this. Because the whole mission here is to make real sprinting education available for everyone. And that's actually the main goal here. So if you want to see a 3-week training program, you can click on this video. That video gives you a 3-week training plan on top of the pillars of speed that I coach with the athletes in my one-on-one group. If you want more information on the pillars of speed, you can click and join our free community in the first link in the description of all sprinters working together to get faster for free. If you want to work with me and my team on a one-on-one basis, you can click the second link where you can book a call with somebody on my team and they will see if you're a good fit for our one-on-one training program. I'll see you guys in the next video. Subscribe and leave a thumbs up.